Welcome to the webinar on the 16th International Standards Olympiad. And my name is Seungbin, and some of you may have seen me through the pre-educational material we distributed on the official homepage for the International Standards Olympiad. General information, the days of the event is the August 24th, Tuesday to the 26th, Thursday, 2021. And the details of the schedule will be explained in the coming material. So venue will be online. Unfortunately, as you know, because of the COVID-19 situation, we decided to hold a meeting online. So main information is available at the homepage. Now let me go to this homepage itself. So this homepage is easily accessible through the internet. And we have 3 main menus: about, and information, and community. So I'm going to visit each one of these menu and to explain to the content. So while visiting this each menu, I can remind you any details regarding the event. So the objective of this International Standard Olympiad is to promote public awareness on the importance of standardization for convenience and safety, and enhance the students' scientific creativity by creating an opportunity to explore new ways of standardization, promote and facilitate an international tournament hosted by Korea to advance the country's capabilities in standardization education. Now, let me move on to the overview. So the promotion is done, and participants will be around 20 teams from each category of the high school and middle school. And the 3 days event will be like this. So first day, we will have an opening ceremony and special lectures and talent shows, things like that. It will start from the 15:30 p.m. of the Korean time. So this the local time for each of you will be different according to the region you belong to. And day 2 will start for the main contest. So the topic of the main contest will be announced at 1 p.m., 13 p.m. of Korea time, and then the finishing of your document should be submitted by 18 p.m., which means 6 p.m. So it's like a 5-hour event. And then after the 5-hour event, you will be given 1 hour break and 2 additional hours to prepare for the presentation material and also video recording. So I know this is a very limited time. So while you're developing your document, you are recommended to prepare, to think about the presentation material you have to finish in the coming hours. So it could be graphics, it could be tables, it could be some material which will be used not only for the document, but also on the presentation material should be discussed. Since this 5-hour is rather short period, considering that the topic is announced and you only have 5 hours, you are recommended to utilize these 5 hours very effectively. So initial, I guess, 1 hour or so can be devoted to discuss among all the team members that how you're gonna construct the document. So what is your main idea? Things like that. And then after this initial, after you fixed up your main structure of the document, I recommend that each one of you will be tasked with a different topics of the different sections or different clauses of the documents, so that each one of you can develop different sections. And after that, you'll get it together again to merge the document into one. And if necessary, you should discuss which part will be included and which part will not be included in the final document, because it's your judgment call. So this will be very important. So each group will be given exact same time, right? 5 hours. But I am telling you, this 5 hour would be not enough. So only those teams who prepare for this event well enough will have a better chance to have a best score. As you know, the pre-educational material with in terms of the video is distributed. I'm going to visit that, so you must be acquainted with this document, this material, so that you ready for this document writing. Now, day 3. So day 3 evaluation will start. I think at the end of the day 2, you have to submit your pre-recorded your presentation. So each the evaluation committee members will have a chance to listen to that, and they are going to have questions on each one of the members. So you have a chance to answer that question. So that will be done on starting from the 1 p.m. again in Korean time. So 5 minutes for the presentation and remaining 3 minutes for questions. Things like question and answers. So that will be, and after that, we will have a closing ceremony, including award ceremony. Now, let's visit the overall evaluation criteria. This is very important, right? So document versus presentation will be divided by 50 and 50. So altogether it is 100 points. So document itself is a 50 point, and 50 point is divided into this bracket. So adequacy of the international document format. This international document format is basically the format I introduced during my pre-educational material. So it should follow the ISO rules, ISO and IEC rules. So that will be given 10 points. And adequacy of the English expression, even if you have a good document format, if the language written is not clear to convey your message, then there will be a troublesome. So this will be given 10 points for English expression. And feasibility of the proposal. So you will have a main idea, which will be called the proposal. The proposal should be, doable in practice. So if your proposal is really not applicable or not practically possible, then that will not be good. So your proposal should be feasible. That feasibility will be counted as 10 points. And last but not the least, the specificity of the proposal, which means how specific your proposal is. So your proposal will have different clauses and sub-clauses to describe each individual the items. That should be very specific. That is the 20 points. And now, third day, you are going to do the presentation. So presentation, we have bracket into two. One is the adequacy of the presentation material, will be 25 points. And then presentation skills will be 25%. So regarding the presentation material, many of you, most of you will be using PowerPoint presentation. And this, when you are doing this presentation, as you can see, there are many kind of the possibilities. You can use any given styles, but this presentation material should be there to persuade your audience members, right? So in order to achieve that goal, your idea should be written very concisely. Usually we are not going to write it down the sentence over there. The sentence will be used for the document. Presentation material will be different. Presentation material should be usually itemized, or some graphics should be used. Because presentation is, as I said, very short time, like 5 minutes. During this short time, you have to buy the the minds of the audience. So in order to do that, the idea should be written there rather than full sentence. I would itemize and during the presentation, that's the presentation material. And during the presentation, you are going to look at the audience and you have to convey your message to them. It's like selling the products to the audience. So in order to effectively sell the products, you have to explain that. One bad example will be reading the text. Some of the students, I remember, they was writing the scripts and then they read the scripts. Reading the scripts is not the best way to persuade the audience. I think sometimes it can show that you are not ready, right? Because you are reading it, right? If you are ready, you don't need to read it because all the ideas, all the concepts are in your brain, you are already known it. Right? So you have to now look at the eyes. You have eye contact with the audience, and then you try to persuade them. So that will show your readiness to present, right? So this would be very important. Now, hours. So we have a number of hours. The very first award will be the platinum, and we have gold award for each category of middle school and high school, and silver awards again 2 teams for each category, and bronze for 2 teams. And special award will be given by ISO 1 and another by IEC. And also the honorable mention by 1 team each, 2 teams each for each category. Now, the common features, I think this you would already know. So let me go to the second main menu, which is the information. So information, first one is the pre-educational material. So in this is a material I was talking about. So I think this is more than 10-minute material. So if you read this, if you listen to this, you will be known how to write the international standard. So personally, I propose several ISO international standards, and as of now, I am also developing the international standard. So in order to write effective international standard, you should be familiar with the basic components. So that is explained in this video. And during the during the real the session, you will be given some template documents. So that is done. That is in Microsoft DOC format. So you may use that template to complete your document, to start the document. So that would be very important. So I don't want to spend time to show this. So okay, so previous task. This is, as I said before, this is a 16th event. So we have 15 different previous events. So it started from 2006 until last year. But I want to focus on recent 2 events only, because from the 14th event, we changed the format. Previously, this event was more or less, we were focused on the manufacturing or assembling the kit. But after the 2019, we decided to write the international standards document. So let me hit this button. So 2019. We have a middle school category and high school category with the different prizes. So you can see the different teams and some pictures of the event, right? Now, so the task given to the middle school division was the methods for performance evaluation of camera drone. So this is basically drone performance. And high school division, it was the methods for performance evaluation of home cleaning robots. So home cleaning robot performance is the main topic. And it was the very similar as this time 3-day event. And 2020, by the way, at the end of getting to the end of my presentation, I'm going to show you the examples of that result of that event. So now 2020 15th event, the task of the middle school was safety of the personal mobility vehicle. And high school division, safety of outdoor delivery robot. So this was the topic, and this was the list of the prizes given to the high school and middle school categories, and special award, things like that. Okay, now let me go back to the press release button. I think this is a video clip to show all the events. So those who are interested, you may visit this. Now let me go to the last, the menu, which is called community, and we have a notice. This area will be used to announce you very important event from the organization side. So you may want to visit this frequently. And now FAQ, I want to visit FAQ one by one so that you may have an answer on these questions. So first one is, would like to participate in the International Standards Olympiad. How can I participate? I think you are already, the fact that you are visiting here proves that you already know how to participate. So it should be through the national body. So this is written this here. Now, second question is, how many hours will be given to complete the task during the competition? I already visited this, so it will be altogether 8 hours, but there will be 5 hours and another 2 hours for 5 hours for document writing and another 2 hours for the presentation material and video presentation. So in between, we have a 1 hour break. And number 3, can we decide the title of standard freely? Oh, by the way, this is the part which is changed from the previous years. From, this year, we decided that changing the title is not allowed. So you may have to use the given title. So at the time of the announcement, we will give you the sample title, which should be used by all of the group. Now, number 4, standard document. Do you have to use the provided template for document? Yes, you have to use the provided template. By the way, this template is the template not only for you, but also any international experts who are currently working in the ISO and IEC. So you should be familiar with this template. However, you may add more clauses for standardization items. So if you recall, those who took the pre-educational material, you will know that what is the clause 1? What is the title of the clause 1? There was clause 1 is the covering area. It is called scope. So scope should be there. And what is the clause 2? Clause 2 is the normative references. So normative references is usually is a list of standards which is cited at the main text of the standard. So for your case, if you do not, since you are not really working at the real environment, which means you may not know the other standard. In that case, you can have there is no normative references, things like that. And what is the clause number 3? Clause number 3 is the terms and definition, right? So those terms you are going to use in your document, which requires definition. Which terms are required the definition? Any term which may have the possibility of confusion, you have to define it. If some term is very clear, you don't need to define it, right? If the term itself is very clear, you don't need to define. But if any term has the possibility of confusion, then I would recommend you to define the term. Anyhow, so after those 3 clauses are mandatory. So clause 1, clause 2, clause 3 should be there. From the clause 4, you have the freedom to choose. So the title of the subtitle of that clause can be decided by yourself, and how many clauses it can be decided by your group, right? As long as it is readable and reasonable, that's more important. Now, the FAQ number 5. Is there any page limit for document? No, there is no page limit. As long as you use the provided document template, that is enough. So, but I mean, practically you have only 5 hours. So there will be certain limit, but other than that, there is no limit. And can you use the tables and figures? Yes, you are allowed to use the tables and figures. Not only allows, you are more encouraged. You are encouraged to use tables and figures, especially if you have so many numbers, right? Listing so many numbers with the explanation in a sentence sometimes it's not the best way to convey your message. In order to effectively convey your message, sometimes you have to write it into the table, right? And figures, right? Figure is, rather than describing the situation, a simple figure will speak louder than this description, right? So you can use you are encouraged to use figures as much as possible. And can you use any presentation style? Yes, you are allowed to use your own presentation style in PowerPoint format. A PowerPoint file should not exceed 10 pages, which means since considering the 5 minute the presentation, maybe 10 page would be enough. So you can digest into these 10 pages your own ideas very effectively. Now, can we present in English? Yes. Both document and presentation should be used in English. So you should use for the writing and for the oral presentation, everything should be in English. 9. Should the presentation member be only one? You may decide how you will present in your assigned presentation time slot, including the number of presenters. So which means that you can decide that one person can present or all the members can present with a different sections, I would say. As a evaluation member, I would recommend that many members participate, especially all the members participate in the presentation. That will give the feeling that all of the members devoted the time and collaborate well, things like that. And number 10. Now, what is the assigned presentation time? Is there any penalty not meeting the assigned time? Yes, the presentation should be finalized. It is pre-recorded, right? It will be in 5 minutes, and there will be a penalty if you pass the time. And how much? 11? How much percentage is allotted for the document and presentation? I think I already covered this. 50% for the document and 50% for presentation. And now 12. Can I search for data on the internet? This year's competition is only possible because of COVID-19, but you shouldn't get help from any others, which means that you're allowed to search using the like any search engine like a Google, but you should not get help from any members other than your team, right? This will be very important. Now, 13. What do you do to prevent cheating? So we plan to monitor your team during the task for main contest, and detailed information will be notified later. 14. What happens if I fail to submit standard document file and video within the time limit? You would be automatically disqualified. So managing time would be very important considering this is a limited time event. So my tip to you is that, now between now and the presentation time, the competition time, it will be roughly more than 1 month. So during those times, I would recommend you to listen to the pre-education material, and within your members, you can pick up some kind of sample or expected or anticipated topics, and to train yourself with writing the document and with the presentation material and oral presentation itself. So my simple recommendation is that you should be familiar with this writing international standard. Then those who are ready will do better in the real the presentation and real writing session. And now let's go to the number 15. We allow to divide the task and assign the specific task to individual members. Yes, you are actually encouraged to divide the task among the members. As the time is limited to complete the document and presentation material in each time. 16. How important the teamwork to produce the final document. It is very important for you to collaborate and indicate the role of each member. So maybe in a presentation material, you will say, member A do this, member B do this, member C do this, things like that. We'll give the evaluation members that each members really worked together, and then that kind of the feeling, right? So this is very important. So now I think I covered all the FAQ. Now, still, after I covered this, still you may have a lot of remaining questions. Those remaining questions or not, or new questions can be asked in the Q&A session, Q&A menu here. So you are encouraged to, if you have any questions, to put your questions here. And your contact information is here. And now, I think I covered all the items in this homepage, web page. So let me now go back to my presentation. So this is the template of the international standard. So this is the real Word document. Will be very much look like this. So you are going to delete this mandatory part and you are going to type your text. So this document specifies, this document establishes the method of the testing, things like that. Okay? Oh, the title will be given, as I said before, right? And normative references, you may write down normative references, but if you do not have any normative references, then you may write down this sentence. So this is that there are no normative references in this document. And terms and definitions for the purposes of this document, the following terms and definition apply, and writing down number 3.1 and term and text of the definition. I think many of you are already familiar with this, but anyhow, this definition should be a single phrase which can be replaced in the context of any occurrence of this term, right? So this term and this single phrase of definition should be a single phrase, right? It should not be the sentence, right? Or some of the members who are not familiar with the definition, they may sometimes write it down the sentence with a period. That's wrong. So you have to write it down, the single phrase, and that single phrase should, this term can be replaced by this single term in any occurrence of this term. Then you are done right away. And if you have any additional information to say, then you will say note 1, 2, and 3, things like that. Now, yes, this is the sample standard I used during my educational material. So this specific document is provided by ISO, and this is the serials and process specification and test methods, part 1 rise. So using this document, I explained each element by element during my presentation of the educational material. So many of you are already familiar with this. Let me go back. Now, let me summarize about let me now start with the topics of a standard. Topics of a standard could be like a mutual understanding. Mutual understanding being like a vocabulary. Or so vocabulary, sometimes vocabulary itself can be a single separate standard. If you have so many vocabularies, then you may decide vocabulary as a separate document of the standard. But many of you will use the vocabulary in a terms and definition section, right? All coordinate system, all signs, right? You everyday life, we are looking at many signs, right? When you are driving, you can see many signs, right? Stop sign with a hexadiagonal shape, or or triangle with a yield sign, right? Upside down triangle, right? Who decides that kind of signs? That's the standard, right? So that's what standard they are doing for. And safety. What is safety? I mean, we have to ensure that all the people should be safe, right? During use of some product, right? So this is almost important. In order to enhance the safety, there are many kinds of safety standards and performance. We need to objective test. We need an objective test procedure for the product. As a manufacturer, as a manufacturer, you have the right to a little bit exaggerate, right? My product is doing best. But as a customer, you want to know which product is really working best, right? So in order to achieve that, in order to find which product is the best, we need to have objective test procedures. So that is the performance standard. And there are interoperability issues, right? Interoperability means that, I mean, you have a different connectors and that can be connected together. Nowadays, many of you are using cell phone, right? Mobile phones. As I remember, I mean, previously this mobile phone has this battery charging connectors, and each manufacturer actually has a different connectors. Then in one household, we can have a number of different charging systems with the different connectors. And that will be very much not effective. Nowadays, many manufacturers are getting together and they develop the standards. So we have a number of not just single connectors, right? But connectors are nowadays one or two. So it is a lot comfortable compared to the previous days. And communications, right? This kind of a thing is very important. And process, description of a series of process. So we have a process. When you have a process, we need to start from the step 1, step 2, step 3, until the final thing. We need to develop this kind of process. So that this kind of a standard is very important. Now, having said that, who will be the benefactor of the standard? It will be us who will have a benefit from this standard, right? And then it will be our future generation. Future generation without the standard could be wasting a lot of time, could be exposed to the safety issues. But with a proper standard, they could enjoy better life, safer life, and better product. So this is very important. So I would like for you to experience this and contribute to the human being in Europe, so that this standardization effort will affect you, not only you, but also in the future generation. Now, this is basically the questions, but I already covered during the visit of the web menus. So let me go further. Let me stop it here now. This time I want to show you, as I said before, this time I want to show you the document over the previous years. So let me first open the 2019 high school grand prize. So 2019 was the performance of the dry cleaning robot. So this is the title, Robots for Household Use, Performance Criteria and Related Test Methods for Dry Cleaning Robot. As I said, now you don't have to worry about this title because title will be given. Now, clause 1, scope. This document describes methods of specifying and evaluating the manipulation performance for dry cleaning robots. It is applicable to dry vacuum cleaning robots. And normative references and terms and definitions. Terms and definitions, they define what is a robot. And after that, they define this kind of thing sufficiently. By the way, this sufficiently is the adjective, right? Normally, terms and definition, I think almost all items are noun, right? Adjective or adverb, this is adverb, or even verb is not recommended. If you have to define verb, for example, you can make it into the like a noun, like a swim to the swimming. If you want to define swim, rather than swim, you try to define swimming, things like that. So this is not perfect. And configurations and ambient, things like that, they try to define. And clause 4 is the now test conditions. So being a performance standard, they want to define first the conditions of the test. So 4.1 is the general. And 4.2 is the environmental conditions. So ambient temperature being 10 to 30 degrees in Celsius, relative humidity 0 to 80%, things like that, and operating conditions. So operating conditions is written there. And now, from clause 5, it is the main topic. So first is the cleaning efficiency. Yes, this is a cleaning robot. What is the most important factors? It should be cleaning, right? So cleaning efficiency is here. And they have two different, the test facility with the different surface conditions. And test procedure is written. And test result is written here. And now next topic is obstacle avoidance. Now cleaning robot should avoid the obstacle, right? So obstacle avoidance test is given here. So it is the figure is given here. So when obstacle is here, cleaning robot is here, they describe how to test obstacle avoidance. And cleaning coverage, they showed some kind of tables. So test the facility. So how much coverage a single robot can do compared with another robot. So that kind of thing is described in this clause. And navigation. Navigation, they have a very complicated, the environment, and they measure the effectiveness of the navigation. And energy endurance, right? One robot can move around, and which robot has a more energy efficiency? I think is described here. So this is I'm not saying that this is perfect. This is just example of the previous competition. Let me go to the middle school of the 2019 event. So middle school at that time, it was the performance criteria and related test methods for camera drones. So scope is written, and normative reference, and terms and definition, So they define UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, as known as drone. And then camera drone is defined using the previous, this UAV. I think this kind of hierarchical definition scheme is good. So this is UAV with a camera used in specific photography, things like that. And four is again test conditions, right? Environmental condition. And 5 is test methods. And 5.1, basic function test, basic function standard. And 5.2, feature standard of camera drone. And 6 is a test report. 7 is the standard value of test method. So they, I think, categorize some robot with a different height and different values. Okay, anyway, this is the example. Now let me go back to the next one. Next one is the last year's sample. So this is the grand prize. So robots for safety requirements for delivery robots. The scope is written here and normative reference is given here. Some normative reference. And then terms and definitions. So harm is defined here. After harm is defined, using the harm, the risk is defined. By the way, this is the actually given term I provided because this is a kind of level is, I assume that it is kind of very difficult to understand. The basic concept was given. Anyway, you may use this kind of terms. And then safety is defined. Okay, after that, the clause 4 was a risk assessment. So once in the safety standard, the most important thing is the risk assessment. So risk assessment is described here. And from the 5 is the main text. So risk reduction. So 5.1 general, 5.2 hazard due to the shape. So if the shape is very sharp, then people can easily be cut, right? So in order to prevent that, we need to have a round corner, things like that. And then electrical hazard, right? If people are, if you touch the robot and if you can feel the electricity, it will be troublesome, right? So electrical hazard and stability of robot. If the robot is not stable, if you push it, if the robot is just falling, then it will be troublesome. And hazard relating to movement will be, and then warning signals and instruction manual. And the last one is the stop functions, right? And also, from last year, I said you need to have if we have additional material, which is kind of have a little bit size, then you can have rather than put it into the main text, you can put it into the annex. Annex, there are two kinds of annex. One is a normative annex, another is informative annex. All the explanation on the annexes are also given in the pre-educational material. So this is like this. Now let me go to the next one. Next one would be middle school. So middle school now, the topic was, title is personal mobility, safety requirements for electrical personal mobility, and scope is written here. And normative reference is given here, and terms and definition. So we are defining what is personal mobility, class of a compact and motorized vehicle for transporting an individual. By the way, this is wrong. A should not be used. So in the definition section, no or the should not be used. It should be removed. Anyway, this is not perfect, as I said before. And number 4, clause 4 is the classification. And so they classify with some pictures. And then the 5 is the general safety requirement. And 6 is the mechanical safety. And 7 is the safety protection functions. And safety identification. So proper identification should be given. And Annex A is risk reduction process. Things like that. So they provided some kind of flow chart here. Okay, this will conclude my webinar today. So I hope everybody successful during this very important events. And as I said before, the best performance can come from the practice. So you need to have a lot of practice using my pre-educational material and today's webinar. And among your group members, you have to pick up any hypothetical topics and then prepare and for the real events, and you will be very much successful in a real event. And I hope to see all of you August 21st, 25, and 26. Okay, thank you, and hope to see you next time.